Great. Good to see you. Yeah, welcome to the basement. It looks like a typical Midwestern grandparents' basement.
That is a proper movie lover's man cave. Like, I'm liking what I'm seeing.
Fantastic. And I liked what I saw, seriously, in your series. I mean, like I told everybody, it's like watching home movies. If you're from the Midwest, especially, it's like, I know these people. I know them very well. And I mean,
there's a lot of Detroit party aunts and uncles out there. And we think that's something that's kind of just global. You know, everyone has that relative that they love so much, but they know they're going to ruin the barbecue. Like they just are. and you're going to laugh when they do it. And then they're going to apologize and mess up the apology, but you still love them.
And you're absolutely right. Yeah, there were certain times when growing up, you'd see Uncle so-and-so's car pull up and it's like, oh crap,
oh boy.
I'm going to the neighbors, sorry. And you guys are not only the voice actors in it, but you're also, I mean, like Ike, executive producer, and John, one of the creators. And so I, of course, talked to Katie and Chris. John, talk a little bit about how the whole thing got started.
Yeah, it was originally this Twitter account that Chris created, and us Chicagoans who are all friends out in LA and also still back home in Chicago, we love this account. It was like a lot of inside jokes for us, but it was a very clear voice. It was something that was fun to interact with on Twitter, and it got the attention of some other folks like Richie Schwartz and Will Gluck at Olive Bridge Entertainment, and they saw that Ike and Dave had been interacting with this character on Twitter, and they, approached them and they were like, hey, we love this, show. And that's after they talked to Chris. And they were like, we love this character. We think this could be a show and we could blow out this world. And Katie and I came aboard, and when all of us got in a room together and talked about what this could be and really figured out the world we could build around it, it really became a no-brainer. And even Ike's an executive producer and a voice on it, but was also from the writing process from day one with all of us. Like Ike and Dave have been in the writer's room throughout the whole thing. And so we were really able to be like communally hands-on this. And it's been such a special project because we have all of our friends and family involved in this, and you don't get that often.
Right. And like you said, Ike, you're executive producer and like writer, and then also the voice of Mark, who is married to Diane's sister. And he's that kind of guy who just would show up over somebody's house. She would say, sit there, hold my purse, and don't take the Starlight mints. And so
Mark, if he wasn't terrified of getting a tattoo, would get a tattoo that says happy wife, happy life. He's just one of those guys, which I get it. But no, when we first started kind of breaking that character, and I knew I was going to play it, I was super excited because every character I've played in almost everything is just a crazy person, just like desperate or bad or whatever. So just to play like a normal square suburban dad, I was like this. I was really getting a lot of enjoyment out of it because in real life I'm like a cool dad. Let's just make that clear, Greg.
Here you go.
Super
there
cool.
You go. We need to get shirts. The Super Cool Dad Club.
Super Cool Dad Club. That in itself is cool. So
right. And then John, here you are. You're Mikey. You're Diane's son.
Yep.
Works at the airport, and but still needs his mom to come through for him.
Of course, he's a big of a gentle, giant, sweet baby, right? Like Mikey, huge heart, huge body, huge everything, really. He's such a sweet, lovable giant, like he's such a fun guy to play too.
Yeah.
Well, I can imagine. Guys, thanks so much. I mean, we could talk for hours, but I enjoyed this very much. I hope, I look forward to hopefully season 2. And thank you all very, very much. And yes, like I said, watching home movies. So
I love that.
Thank you, Greg.
That's so great. Thank you, my friend.
How are you both? Katie, Chris?
Greg, hi!
Hello.
Hey.
We're doing great. We love Detroit.
Yes. And we love Chicago. I mean,
yes, we're friends.
They're cousin cities. It's kind of like everybody in Detroit is either related to or knows somebody in Chicago and vice versa.
Exactly.
For sure.
Yeah.
So that's what this show is just so relatable. Now, you two are the creators, and I just have to ask, I'll start with you, Katie. How did this whole thing come about?
Well, there's another creator too, Ike Barinholtz, just to be fair. So Chris had started, actually, Chris might want to answer the first part, and I'll answer the second part.
Okay, well, we'll flip it around. Chris, on you.
So in 2016, I started a Twitter account based on a couple of my actual aunts. And I was just doing it for fun. And then as it kind of grew and got more popular, we kind of all put our heads together and said, this might make a great TV show. And in fact, it might make a great animated TV show. And now here we are about to stream in 190 countries.
Great.
Yeah.
And
So
what
it was really exciting to then take that to take that character and make her into this person who lives in the world and flesh out that whole world and the people around her. So that was really, really exciting to kind of take that to the next level. So
Yeah, and of course, I mean, you know, you've got a lot of things with Chicago. The one thing that also really stuck out to me is the restaurant, the hot dog restaurant, where the ladies yell at you. I've been to that restaurant in Chicago.
the Wiener Circle.
Yes.
The Wiener Circle, and we had to like make it very clear that this is a real place.
Yeah.
That this isn't just something we made up. This is a real place where you go and the women yell at you.
And you
we're
go
like,
back.
yell more, abuse us.
Right, because yeah, you do. You go back for more hot dogs the next day, and it's like,
That's
and,
a real place.
and like we said, you're both voices. Chris, your character Kurt is one of Diane's ex-husband, but they still have this relationship. I mean, it's almost like we're in love with people we can't stand.
You're absolutely right. I think that Kurt and Diane are probably soulmates, but Kurt has, aged and he can't keep up with Diane anymore. And so that's why they've been married and divorced a handful of times.
Yeah.
I know people like that.
Yeah.
And Kate, like with you, your character, she works with her, they're at the beauty shop, barber shop. And another one where she always shows up late, always, will smoke in the office and do different things where you get mad at her, but you still love her.
You love her. Yeah. My character Zuzana is there's a huge Polish community here in Chicago. And so, and she's like very hardworking, very just, you show up on time, you do your job. And Diane is of course the opposite of that. But somehow she still loves her and still, covers for her and makes sure that she's taken care of too. Because they're family.
No, absolutely. And yeah, we're the same way here. We've got a very large Polish community here, in Detroit as well. And, just following along, just even seeing the situations they get into. I mentioned to Rory where, like with his character, every time he needed a ride, the auntie would be ready to come through, but it was like a horror movie where you're just going, don't get in the car. Don't get in the car. But Chris, he got in the car.
He got in the car. I think we describe it as, so her nephew, Daniel, in the show is this kind of wide-eyed kid who it's his first time living in the city and he doesn't know any better. And we describe her as like his blue-collar fairy godmother who, takes him under her wing and is like, I'm going to show you my Chicago. Let's go. And Daniel's just along for the ride.
Yeah. And just like in Chicago, when you say like, if my dad is going to drop me off somewhere, I have to factor in a 5-minute tour of what used to be there.
Oh my gosh.
You know what I mean? And so that's kind of how Diane is. Like, that used to be a hot dog stand.
Yeah.
That used to be a Jules. So it's kind of like that, where it's like he just wants a ride to work. He doesn't want a history.
I just have to add this in, Katie. I also have a tour business here in Detroit where I take people around for the city. It got started the same way. My daughter and her husband were in the car and I was driving going, hey, yeah, that used to be there. And, Motown used to do stuff over there. And they said, why don't you just give a tour? It's like, okay. So,
I can make money doing this.
right.
So smart, Greg.
Yeah, come to Detroit. I'd love to give you guys a tour.
Oh my God, I would love it.
Love that.
Fabulous. Put it in the book. Somebody. There you go. I got to tell you, this was so much fun. I enjoyed this because, like I said, it was like watching home movies.
Oh,
Greg.
so
Thank you very much, Ed. I look forward to season 2. Yes.
thank you.
Thank you, buddy. Great talking to you.
How are you?
Hey,
How are you both?
good. How you doing?
Good. I just have to say, I enjoyed the show because, my God, it's nothing but funny from episode 1 till the last one. And by Detroit being so close to Chicago, it's like I knew these people.
Oh, yes, absolutely.
Because
Yeah.
you're your Auntie Diane, a friend of mine had an Auntie Diane who was similar, but it seems like she's got a heart of gold, but for some reason she always seems to kind of like fall into the wrong things, doesn't she?
Yeah, and I think that's so relatable. You know, I've said so many times, I feel like even if we don't have one in our lives, we've all met a Diane, you know, somebody who has really good intentions, really, really kind-hearted, but often misses the mark, and just bless her for it, you know?
That is that old saying, bless her, just bless her.
Exactly. Bless her heart.
That's right. And Rory, here you are, you're Daniel, young guy. I mean, you know, college age and all like that. And in that time of your life where you are just kind of trying to figure out things, but then you've got your parents and your aunt and other situations trying to dictate what you're supposed to do.
Yeah, no, he's definitely lived a bit of a sheltered life, and he moves in with his Aunt Diane instead of going to Stanford, and really he's just trying to break out of a shell, and there's no better person than his Aunt Diane to break a shell. But, you know, I love this show because I'm from Cleveland, you know, another Great Lakes city. And I agree with you. Like, I know these people, and I was raised by a pack of aunts. They weren't all party aunts, but they were amazing aunts. And, you know, I love that extended family relationship, and that it's so important. And Diane and Daniel's relationship is so funny and just beautiful.
Oh, that it is. And Lauren, what was it like for you when you got to see what the character looked like?
Oh, I was so excited. That like John and Kate +8 haircut. I was just like, yes, it just made so much sense. I love everything about how she's drawn. I love the like classic pump heels. I love the red acrylic nails. I love the hair. I love her body shape. I love everything about her. I just think it's, again, like, we've all seen this lady. She's the one who's at the bar at the end of the night, or is at the bar midday. And you're like, how did you get that intoxicated by 1 p.m.? And the answer is pretty quickly. And I just, again, I'm like, we just all know her. We've seen that person in real life. And it's so fun. I think that's the bottom line. You know, there's so much heart to this show. There's so many jokes. It's so funny, but it's fun. It's kind of, you know, it's an adult cartoon that doesn't have the darkness feel that I feel like other shows kind of have sometimes, which I also like, but I just think it's like a nice, fun, you know, I keep saying that, I'm like, people are going to come for the comedy, but they're going to stay for the heart. That's what I love about this show.
No, absolutely right. And, you know, even thinking again, Rory, about your guy, Daniel, it almost reminded me of a little bit of a horror movie where there were times when he needed help and his aunt had to drive him someplace, but kind of like in the horror movies, you're saying to yourself, don't get in the car.
Yes, that is so true. Yeah, because she's, you know, she may not always make the best decisions, but she always makes the most fun decisions. So it's going to be a wild ride if you're in the car or any situation with Aunt Diane. And the whole show is just a party. Like, that is what it is. And it's really about a woman who loves so deeply her family and also her city, her people. And, you know, I love that because I love Cleveland. I love the Midwest. And this is a love letter to all those people.
No, that's for sure. Because like you said, she, like a lot of people I know in Chicago, those 85 Bears.
Yeah.
Always going to be there.
Oh, yeah.
That's it.
And so many other great things in Chicago, because that restaurant, you know, where the two ladies are yelling at the people who are in there. You know, I've been to that restaurant in Chicago.
Yeah.
I was telling
we all have, I feel like there's so many touchstones. And that's the thing for people who have been to Chicago or live in Chicago, there's all of those layers to the show that are going to make you die laughing. And for people who don't have a reference to those things, it's still funny. Like, it's not like it references you out of the show. You know what I mean? I think that that's kind of like the brilliant balance that they somehow managed to find when they were writing it, is making it so that for those in the know, you're going to be like, oh, that's hilarious. And for those who aren't, you're still going to be like, oh, that's weird and funny. You know, I think it's great.
I think there's plenty of Detroit party ants out there. So there's a lot of people who are going to love this show in Detroit.
Absolutely. Like you said, like watching home movies. Lauren, Rory, thank you so very, very much. Appreciate it. Had a great time and look forward to the next season. So there.
All right.
Yes.